Episode 126. A name is a name, and they call me Nasty. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the We Got Next podcast, the voice of the street level fan. We like what you have to say to us. A lot of it is in passing, but we want you to be on the podcast. How do you do that? First, you start by like, comment, subscribe on Facebook at We Got Next podcast. Tell your friends about it. Share it with everyone. That's dope. That'd be really dope of you to do that. We're available wherever podcasts are available. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Audible, Spreaker, iHeartRadio. On Instagram at WeGotNext_pod. I'm going to delete that other thing from the rundown there. Voicemail line 806-370-0337. Call. Throw your opinions at us. We'll talk about them on the podcast when you get them in there. Facebook, I got a question for you. You got a nickname? Tell us. If it's a good one, great. If it's a bad one, even better. On today's episode, we got the MLS likes its silence, the best nicknames, the worst nicknames, and Joe's got some stuff for At the Buzzer.
Yep. Happy birthdays, goonish behavior, and turtle power. Turtle power. I should have had that as a
and a half shell. Now that we think about it, yeah, we probably should.
I should have. Dang it, I dropped the ball. All right, we need to start over.
Just restart the episode. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1, do it.
3, 2, 1. Okay, here we go.
I knew you were gonna do that. No, stop.
I had to.
No, that's funny. I get it. Off the top rope, and I know you got opinions about this one. NIL meets NFL. I can't do the handshake, or it's like the ripped from Predator, the handshake that they do. NIL meets the NFL. The combine happened over this past weekend.
Yay!
I know some guys were about it. Some dudes all about it. Not me.
Nope. Same. It's weird. The combine's weird.
What makes it weird?
Because they're like
dudes and they chonies just running around.
It's just the Chonies Olympics, dude. They're like measuring dudes all over the place, and like it just seems weird. It's like very
Yeah, we've all seen the Key and Peele skit on that one.
Yeah.
We don't need to go any further with that. But it happened, and a lot of stuff happened. 40 times, records broken like crazies, dudes squatting a bunch, dudes jumping high. The athleticism part of it I do like, I will admit. But I'm not like glued to my TV watching it.
Yeah.
What I did like about this even further is that, hey, Joe, remember when the NCAA was all about like, student athletes are getting their education and they're students first before they are athletes. And
that's why it's student athlete, not athlete student. Yeah, I remember they said that.
It's not athlete. I don't think they said that verbatim.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did.
It'd be really stupid. But that's the point that came across about this. This is the first graduating class since the NIL deals were introduced in, oh my gosh, it's almost in 21. Yeah, 3 years ago. That whole thing passed. It was a bill that basically mandated, the Supreme Court ruled, by the way, that years of uncompensated servitude in a system only which coaches could reap the benefits of their work. Thanks, Supreme Court, 2001 or 2021. But this is the first senior class to come in since that was introduced. A lot of these players were freshmen coming in, and Anscape has an article about this, basically showing how the athletes that are coming into the NFL are more refined in terms of having media presence, in terms of brand awareness too, and then kind of navigating through those waters. But it's a different type of athlete that's coming out of college and into the pros. The first senior class being in the NFL first, obviously the way the sports calendar rotates, you get those athletes in first. And this article highlighted J.C. Latin from the University of Alabama, all SEC offensive tackle. He said, quote, "I grew up with my mom, 3 brothers, 2 sisters, and our great-grandma, and a niece in a 2-bedroom apartment." And he goes on to say that when you tell me that I can play the game I love and you'll pay me $100,000 or $10,000 to appear on something, whatever the case may be. I'm thinking immediately that I can help my family with this. I can do that. I'm not necessarily thinking about the fame and glory, but more or less building up the revenue for his family, which it gets a head start that it introduces the athletes to business at a much earlier age. And I think I like this article that came out strictly because it kind of goes into like the niche athletes, like the ones you don't really think about, like not skill position dudes like wide receivers, quarterbacks, and running backs. But it put a spotlight on like the big guys, offensive line. He has all kinds of NIL deals. There's like a beef jerky brand that's local to Tuscaloosa, and the article kind of points everything out. But I think what I liked about this is that it is a different type of athlete coming in, and we alluded a little bit to it, talking about the All-Star game and how players are more centered around brands. It's like I am representing me as a brand, not me as a player anymore. And I think you can probably counter me on this one, but I guess how social media is interwoven into sports culture, all culture really. Social media and the internet just kind of made a boom happen that not everybody realized was a thing until we were already like 3 years into it, I guess. But you see these younger athletes coming in and recognizing the game immediately. And I think that's the best part of this article, is that it highlights how the players are smarter than they were before you don't have another Antoine Walker situation where you're broke like as soon as you got out of the NBA. But all these players are taking advantage of something. We talked about the Madden thing last week, or was it a couple weeks ago? We talked about it, and it was like, oh yeah, the players get $600 for their name, image, and likeness. And some people would jump on that deal, but to see an offensive lineman like Latham come out of this and say, I'm extremely aware of who I am as a player, who I am as a person, and what this means to my family, but this also doesn't contradict me as a student athlete, which is the better part of it, because he understands first and foremost, I need a degree. I need to be in school getting my education, because that's part of the reason why he's there in the first place, but also understanding that this doesn't get in the way of him being an athlete. That was the takeaway I took from this, is that you have all these things that create distractions, but this young kid coming out of college and basically coming in as a professional to a professional league is already sound of mind and like completely aware of what he is as a product of a team, of an entertainment piece, and also as a brand and managing himself as a brand. I think that's dope.
It's double-edged though. It's on one hand, yeah, you get some people, and not everybody will capitalize on this. The same reason, or the same way most people wouldn't capitalize on certain opportunities or chances presented to them. One, you have to know what to do in the situation, and a lot of people don't. Like if they're just signing their likeness away for like the game,
like the Madden deal. Yeah. Like I'm going to get $600 and a copy of the game.
NCAA, or what is it called? The college football.
College football 24 or 25. Yeah. But like, now it's just you get $670 out of that deal, and shake your hand. Good luck. See ya.
Yeah. So it's like. Also, it's weird because like it's not like EA doesn't have the money, like they can pay more, but not everybody would know what to do with that information if it was presented to them, and then not everybody would be able to capitalize on it in the right way, like to make it worth their while. So like somebody could be like, oh cool, I'll take the $600 and then the free copy of the game, and then sell the game, and then or like it's an autographed copy and they can sell it for more or something like that.
Oh,
like,
hey, that's a good flip. I didn't think about that.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Hustle man over here.
Come to me. My new segment, Hustle Man Tactics, will be after at the buzzer. But it's good for the people that know how to execute, or make the most out of it. But then it's also bad because like somebody could get a bum deal, and now it's like, oh well, that sucks, But I also agree with you though. Because not any defensive lineman or offensive lineman, like, oh, linemen aren't household names, like. I
mean, unless you're the Kelsey that just retired, everyone only knew him.
Jason Kelsey. Yeah.
Yeah, but everyone only knew him because of his brother.
I actually didn't even know Travis Kelce had a brother in the league until like 2 years ago or something like that.
You're like, oh yeah, he plays for the Eagles. Boo.
Also, there's another Kelce on the Eagles. What is this? Who is this? Why is this? Yeah, I don't
He
think
just
it's
retired. Happy retirement, by the way.
yeah, happy retirement. I don't think situations like these. I don't think are good for like. It's better for players that don't have a high profile, because then it's like, oh yeah, I can make a little scratch on the side, do my thing, but it's still exploitative. Like when it comes down to it, there's not nobody can finesse their way to a better deal in these NIL situations.
The article does kind of lead into what your point is. After 3 years of seeing many young athletes hundreds of thousands of dollars, politicians are looking to put them back in their place and restrict the ability to earn substantial sums of NIL money. This past Friday, the state of Utah legislator passed a bill mandating that college athletes in the state looking for profit of their name, image, likeness must now receive a written approval from their institutions on any deal exceeding $600. Just boo, boo, thumbs down on that one. Hey, get off the stage. It's good and it's bad, and we the homies and I had a conversation about this over the weekend. You have this thing that could potentially turn into amateur leagues, because that's essentially what it is at this point. The better part of the NIL, to counter you, Joe, is that you don't have like these illegal means of these players receiving the money. There's like, oh, this card magically was, quote, donated to this player, and that's how we get everyone kind of getting over here. Coaches hate it because it doesn't necessarily even the playing field, but say like a hometown kid in Iowa plays for the Hawkeyes, and it's like, hey man, like you love wherever that city is that for Iowa football. You've grown up here your entire life, and we really want you to stay. And like that steakhouse you love that's down the street that your daddy likes to go to, oh man, they'll give you money if you stay here. And like,
I thought you were going to say coupons.
no, not that. But now they can, like, you can be in their commercial and they like hook you up with some money and like free meals, and like, I mean, you're already going to be getting free meals anyway if you're a legend and like a hometown legend. But stuff like that, it's a small level of compensation, and the workaround for this was like, well, they're getting an education at the same time too. I hate the counterpoint of the athletes are being paid, like they get a free education. Like, yeah, but it ain't feeding them. Like, this isn't feeding them. This is just they're able to be at the practice facilities. They're able to get their bones crunched on Saturdays.
Yeah.
And wear their legs down if they're playing basketball like 2 days a week, 3 days a week, some weeks. But that's not equal compensation to me. NIL kind of levels the playing field a little bit in terms of like players' body usage for this product of entertainment, which essentially is what it is. And then you have an argument about professional athletes who get paid way too much. You can blame the owners on that one. Also, collective bargaining agreement. That's a whole nother argument. But we were talking about it, and we were just saying, like, yeah, it's better if this turns into like a developmental league kind of thing. Like you have NBA, G League, Ignite, and you have farm leagues and stuff for baseball. But you don't have anything like this for football, which is weird because you have the USFL and XFL, or they combine now. They have the United Football League.
Yeah.
But you don't have something that could like potentially funnel talent to be better than what it is. Like, isn't the point of having a product that's dominant in capitalism terms? Wouldn't you want it to grow? Why wouldn't you want it to grow?
Yeah.
I think NIL could potentially pave the way for like the NFL to have a supplemental league to get players back into, or like, hey, you just came off an injury, you need to kind of go down a league, get your reps in, come back up the next week, whatever. I think that'll be something cool, but that also requires that season to happen at the same time at the NFL, and that will not relinquish anytime soon.
Yeah, I was going to say the problem there too, and we talked about it with like the MLS last week in the was it the Lamar Open Cup?
The Lamar Hunt US Open Cup.
Hunt, yeah. It's the trade-off of like attention creates revenue, so then you're going to split that no matter what. And obviously in the US, the NFL has a has a stranglehold on attention and therefore money. Without that, you're taking something away somewhere. So if the NFL isn't going to contribute like with a partnership or something with like the lower leagues, then it's not gonna, they can't develop anything. And then whenever they can't develop anything like that, they just only need to focus, because it's worked so long, they only need to focus on, well, we don't need to develop these other leagues. We can just keep pulling kids from college, and like, you know, they're getting by on the scraps that we give them, basically. It's to the NFL's advantage. Like they and the universities, obviously, they get to use this free labor basically to expand their product, and then the NCAA has a product. Like you can't be you would be naive thinking otherwise. The product is like, oh, we get these, you know, televised deals and all these sports, basketball and all that get to be on TV, football. And then it immediately falls off. Basketball, football, baseball, maybe soccer, and then it just like kind of goes down. Unless they're doing like track and field stuff, but those are special for like, you know, Olympic years or like World Championship years, stuff like that. But yeah, as soon as
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, as soon as like that, like I said, that attention or that amount of airspace is finite. So as soon as something gets shoved off to the side, it can immediately be forgotten, especially in the landscape of American sports. Like the way the cycle works, it's like if you're not a fan of football, you're not really paying attention to anything else. Or football transitions into, you know, spring training, and then you get into baseball. Or you're watching basketball and football at the same. Like it always gravitates around the NFL. So there's always going to be a push and pull somewhere.
We at the We Got Next podcast are all about the players getting that bag.
Yes,
you have most of these guys come in from like lower income families, basically. I mean, we were talking about our offensive lineman here. He grew up in a house with like 8 other people, in an apartment, not even a house, with 8 other people, a 2-bedroom apartment. And for them to succeed in trying to get some of that money back, I'm all for it. I always be pro player.
Same.
Facebook, we asked the question, you got a nickname? What is it? JJ, shout out to JJ, the Has-Beens Sports Podcast. Gordo. Everyone has called him that for the longest time. Why? I don't know.
They need to tell us.
My dad calls me John. Dad calls me Jono sometimes.
Jono. Some people.
Like, where's the O come from? I don't know.
Jono. Some people call me John, so that's a nickname.
I knew you would say that.
Because we look the same.
Facebook, our question of the night. Our question of the night. You got a nickname? Share it with us.
Yeah, tell us.
We get into the comments. Throw it in the comments.
I have been called Joe Nobly before.
Yeah,
just because of how I play basketball, and some of my game was modeled and predicated after Manu Ginobili. And I have a big, Joe Motion. And I have a big nose like him too, and it's been hit several times like his also. So
it's funny they called me Ginobili too when I was playing. Slim was the nickname I got. Obviously, that's pretty self-explanatory. But yeah, they would try to call me Ginobili too. I was like, I'm not even left-handed. Also, Ginobili's Argentinian. So stupid. Hey, shout out to the cuz Crystal. She said, I can tell y'all apart.
Hey, yep.
No, we have very defined features, like the mustache, the beard, the tattoos. I say shit sometimes. Joe doesn't. I don't know if that's a feature. That's not a feature.
No.
I'm the R-rated version of Joe.
R-rated.
Joe's PG-13.
PG-13. But it swings up and down sometimes. I'll say something nasty occasionally.
They call you nasty.
They call me nasty. Yeah, exactly. No, they don't call me nasty.
The MLS, Joe, likes its silence.
Oh, no.
So they instructed broadcasters not to, quote, belabor their commentary around the referee lockout. We mentioned this a couple weeks ago, too. The MLS season just started a little bit later, only because there's substitute referees in there right now. Why is there substitute referees, Joe? You know what happens when that happens?
They're striking.
Yep. Lack of money going their way. MLS is growing as a product, and there's a referee lockout. They're missing some of the calls. The MLS doesn't want you to talk about the calls. So apparently they issued this little mandate. I guess it was like a memo, and basically instructing broadcasters not to say anything negative about the situation that's going on, which is stupid.
That's you already have a problem. If you have to issue an internal memo about something like this, you already have a problem, and double dumb because it's going to leak. Like whether this didn't leak though, they openly discussed like, oh yes, we want to skip past this blemish on our game. At the same time, you only draw attention to it more, I think, whenever you're telling people, hey, don't talk about it. And it's like, well, now we're gonna, and here we are.
It's like when I tell you don't think about elephants, what are you gonna think about?
Elephants.
It's like, I ain't got kids, but some of y'all out there do. Like Crystal. Shout out to Ben, just joining us. It's like, don't you tell your kid not to do something and then they end up doing it.
Case in point, morning football.
Yeah, so at CBS Sports Golazo, that's their soccer team. They had a roundtable on how it's the job of commentators and reporters, basically, to be as transparent as you can. I mean, obviously, there's still some stuff that they know that we know that's like not privy to. But yeah, they have a responsibility, basically, going to the fans, us as viewers, to know what's going on, like to know their take, to report these things that are happening. I agree. I know some people that work in news, and their job as reporters is to make sure they have the integrity to make sure that you hear what you're supposed to hear, or hear even if it's something that you're not supposed to hear. It's like, hey, there's this thing that's happening, like, oh, I don't know, or whatever, on this sports team, and like you need to know about this. Like, yeah, you got to know.
I mean, it's for those of y'all that are so hard on the amendments, it's part of the freedom of the press. Like you need something like this in order to not only hold the powers that be, keep them honest, basically, but also like it's a public service in a way to inform the people. And this isn't like
you gotta fight the powers that be.
Exactly. With this,
if that's a small way, if that's a small way for reporters to actually do that, it's not going against it's not like messing up guidelines or anything, but it's just weird that the MLS was just, hey, y'all don't say anything bad about this glaring thing that's happening, because it's obvious.
Yeah,
some of these calls are being missed, and a lot of them are affecting the outcome of the matches, which is why people are talking about it in the first place. So it's like, pick your poison kind of thing.
They it's gonna be an eyesore no matter who you are, whether it's a casual fan or dedicated fans that have been following MLS for a long time. It's gonna jump out at you immediately, whether you're like a seasoned fan or not. And the problem too is it's not necessarily like censorship per se, but it's also like it provides context too. Like if somebody say like they were trying to attract new fans MLS, if they do something like this and the commentators skip past like a glaring like red card, it's like, oh man, this dude just punched this guy in the back of the head in the box.
I don't think it's that bad. That's pretty obvious. If something like that happens, it's pretty obvious.
But say like that was something like that did get missed, like in a scrum, like they're all crowded around each other, somebody gets like kneed in the stomach or something crazy like that happens. The commentators, it would be a duty of public service to provide context for like, hey, how did this get missed? Like a casual fan comes in, it's like, what's going on here? They would have to explain that. Like, how would you just be like, you just sit there all silent and you're just kind of like, and it's going to be a penalty or it's a goal kick. Like, what? This guy got kneed in the stomach. What's going on here? And they're like, nope, we're not going to mention anything. Like, that seems weird.
The video review also messed it up too, which has happened a lot in the Premier League, the English football league. A comment here in the comment section: everything is about money, censorship for sponsorship.
It's making their product look better than it is currently. So when they end up,
but we know it's bad. The NBA went through this. The NBA went through this not too long ago, and it was the same thing. It's like, man, these bum ass refs, these replacement refs are coming in, and it's affecting the game, which affects the product, which makes people not want to watch it.
Yeah.
If you say something about it to address it, okay, that makes sense. But if you just say something about it to complain, but say something about it to have a solution for it,
Yeah.
that's better.
I don't.
The only solution for this, though, which is the MLS's problem, is that you need to pay these dudes.
Yes. you would it would be less of a black eye to the MLS. It's just like, yeah, you got the money. Like, come on. Again, this goes back to like what we were talking about, the EA's deal for $600 for the NIL situation.
It's like, here, $600 on a sandwich.
You're good for it. Like, you can pay them. Same thing for MLS. It comes down to it. And exactly to Crystal's point too, it's all about, oh, how can we make more without putting a quality product out? It's like, dang, now you just became, to put it in like sales perspectives, it's like an Etsy person that's like ripping off designs and then selling them poorly and then like blaming you for calling them out. Like, that's weird. Like, the fans are going to keep complaining too. Like, this isn't going to stop them from doing that. I do believe, and I probably wouldn't side with the MLS normally or any big time company. I would side with them. I would side with them on this, in that they shouldn't keep like laying on it, because like that's bad commentary too. Like, that's kind of like, this is egregious, and they just like keep leaning into like whatever the bad call is or the ref situation is. That's not. It's why I would tune in.
It's like picking at a scab, basically. Yeah. It's like you're making it worse. I was a commentator for the Lubbock Matadors this past. There wasn't anything glaring or bad that was happening, but our directive was basically just to be as open about what we see as possible. Try not to be objective. I know we were like the home broadcast, but my partner Devin and I, shout out to Devin. Our point was to be like, hey, let's be as objective as possible. Let's tell everybody what's happening, but also let's like have the excitement of promoting the league. The NPSL is like one of the lower divisions of soccer that you can have. And everything that we saw, like, there was sometimes I was just like, ooh, I don't agree with that call or whatever.
Yeah.
But it was also still around like the positivity of the league. In the professionals, for the MLS's sake, there's a comment from Eric. I see you. What's up, dude? We'll get to that in a second. But in the MLS's case, it's like you have these professional commentators that have been around the league since its inception. They have a huge problem with what's going on too. And it's just like, the more negative marks you get against the MLS, the easier it is to kind of tack on to that.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden just like, oh yeah, I don't like it. Like, this product is terrible. I don't want to watch MLS. I'm going to keep watching Premier League until it's over, or whatever, La Liga, whatever you watch. But leading that into, like, it's hard to be positive about something when it just continues to be negative.
Yeah. And then if you went a week without, I thought I had seen some people tweeting about it. It's like, you'd be surprised if you went a week watching MLS stuff and nothing weird happened like that. I was like, dang, that's sorry. But also, to your point too, it's compounding. It's a mark that sticks to the MLS brand, and they can't shake that off. So it's like, oh, on top of them not paying their refs and the refereeing being terrible, there's this problem and this problem. Like, they'll continually connect. And I think it's overall bad.
Yeah, like, it compounds, and it makes the product look bad by itself, because it's not being handled at the level that it should be handled at. Eric joining the live stream, jumping tonight. Thank y'all, everyone, for joining. For the MLS, he says, I feel that it could turn out how people felt for the NFL ref issue from this year. Earlier this year, the referees also had that issue for the first 3 weeks of the season, I believe, 4 weeks of the season. But it's the same thing. It's like, if you draw too much attention to it, it's going to be bad. And because this situation can't really solve itself, like, some of these referees are from like lower leagues, lower divisions, colleges and whatnot. Like, you can't make them be better. I don't know how you could immediately remedy that, but it's so glaring. And the fact that the MLS is just, their approach on this is what's wrong with it. It's just, it's not broken.
Just keep quiet and sweep it under the rug. It's
like I just dropped some stone in my house, broke the floorboards, punched through the concrete, and now my stuff's all broken. But put a throw rug over it, and you'll never know that there's a hole.
No,
here.
that's bad now, because it's a Scooby-Doo trap. So you you step on the rug holding your gigantic sandwich, and you just slip through the thing.
And then, whoop, I'm gone. And now again, this goes back to the comment that we saw about everything is about money. Scooby-Doo, same thing. You always had somebody trying to take over the town.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Rogers, Mr. whoever, some corrupt somebody
Also,
another.
it was always weird when they would pull like the mask off, but their head was like larger or smaller than the mask was. It's like, oh, that's what's happening here.
That's 70s Hanna-Barbera. That's a whole different thing. Facebook, let us know how you feel about not drawing attention to a very obvious problem. Shout out to everybody in the comments too for joining us. If you want to leave a voicemail, 370-0337, hit us up. We'll blast it for you. We'll talk about it.
Is MLS?
If you're making fun of us too, good, because I'll make fun of you right back.
we dish it, give it back, all that.
Yeah, we dish it, we take it. We're all right.
Is MLS like real G's? They're moving in silence like lasagna? Is that what's happening here?
Also, a Facebook question of the night. If you got a nickname, tell us what it is.
Yeah, tell us your nickname.
Speaking of, Cream Abdul-Jabbar. Cream Abdul-Jabbar was trending on Twitter the other night, last Wednesday actually, after Robbie Avila from Indiana State scored a career-high 35 points. The portrait of this man, he is a very portly fellow. I believe he plays power forward. Goggles, like sports rec goggles, pale, hence the name Cream Abdul-Jabbar.
I forgot about the goggles that adds to his Jabbarness, for sure.
That's why they called him that too.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense. I hate it, but it makes sense. So Joe and I were talking about this on Sunday. Joe and I were talking about this on Sunday and Monday, and I told him as soon as I got sent that article, shout out to the homie Kyle for sending that my way. I was like, we got to talk about this. I need to do this. So we came up with a list. We searched some articles and we kind of put some names together of nicknames that are good. And then we'll do nicknames that are not that good. I'll start with some of the ones that I like. Marvin Hagler, boxer. Marvelous. That's a damn good nickname.
Marvelous?
Yeah.
I think it's probably not the original if we're sticking with boxing, but like Sugar Ray.
Sugar. Anyone with the name Ray, I think. There's always sugar.
There's going to be sugar associated with it because their game is sweet. Is that what it is?
That could be it. That's what I like. Marvelous. I did like that one.
Yeah. Megatron it's a good one. I feel like it's a good
Megatron. Calvin Johnson.
Yeah. I think, and that was one of the things we were talking about too, off mic, was like, I think the best nicknames transcend sports. So like, you may not even like watch sports, but you would know who this person was based off their nickname. Megatron, though, probably not. Like, not everybody really probably knows who Calvin Johnson is.
If you're a nerd, no, I think if you're like around sports, football for sure. I don't think the name transcends the sport only because it's from a character from Transformers. But yeah, I don't know about that. Like the Matrix, Sean Marion.
Oh yeah, the Matrix.
He was just known for doing badass dunks at the time, and they gave him the nickname.
Did they call him the Matrix because he saw the game in slow motion? Like, why did they call him the Matrix?
No, it's because he defied gravity.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't remember that from Sean Marion a lot.
No, it's because you remember like Mavericks era Sean Marion when he won the championship. Like he was a little bit less mobile, less agile.
Well,
when he was on the Suns, though. Yeah. When he was on the Suns, though, that's where that came in. The Hick from French Lick.
Yeah, Larry Legend, your boy.
Larry Legend is the better one, I think.
Towel whipping.
I just like the Hick from French Lick because it rhymes.
I do
nicknames. Also, all of it is true. He was very much a hick. Did things on his own. Like he hurt his back building a fence, I believe.
Dang.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's right. Yeah.
He was the kind of dude that just went out and did it. Also, he's from French Lick, Indiana. So,
do good nicknames have to rhyme? Like, are those ones that rhyme? Are they the best ones, or are they just like?
Well, here my criteria for what makes a good nickname. Facebook, you chime in on this too. What makes a good nickname for me is like somebody else has to make it for you. Obviously, that's how nicknames are naturally made anyway.
Yes.
And it has to tie to some part of your personality. Like Joe Montana and Joe Cool.
They named him after Snoopy, or was Snoopy
No.
named after him?
No, it was just him being cool under pressure. It was just Joe Cool. I think Snoopy. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's where the name came from. But it's like, hey, we can tie it to Joe Montana.
That
He's a
fool.
cool
That
dude.
fool's cool.
What about Broadway Joe?
Broadway Joe. That one's dope. I like that one a lot.
You just like any nickname that has Joe
Smokin'
in it.
Joe Frazier.
That's a good one too.
Freaking good.
Golden Boy De La Hoya.
That actually wasn't his name. It was somebody else's before, and they passed it on to De La Hoya. Do you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah. AK-47
AK-47 Andre Karolinko. Yep.
Because he's Russian nationality. AK is his initials, and his number was 47. That's probably one of the best. That's probably one of the best.
Kalashnikov Russian-made assault rifle.
Yep.
Oh man, that one's pretty good. You didn't like AR-15? Austin Reeves?
No, that's whack. See, that's when we. So that's one of my criteria for, and we'll probably cover that here in a second. That's one of my criteria for the worst nicknames you can have. Is like in sports, it's like some variation of like your first initial and last name and like jersey number or something like that. Like CR7 for Ronaldo, like that's stupid. Or
it's just like here's his initials and his number.
Yeah,
TP9,
or D Wade. Like what?
Like,
what is that? Sheed. Like that's not creative at all. Like you just shortened his name.
But technically, it is a nickname. Like John is a nickname.
Yeah, it is a nickname,
that's not my
but
name.
also like I wouldn't count like that's not in the caliber of like good nicknames. It's like
shout out to. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, just like, or like with John, somebody can be called Jack. Like, what is this? That's just
that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Shout out to the live stream. Ben shouts out nickname Benjamin. The play on his whole name. Mo, shout out to Mo. Primetime, that's a damn good one too. A Train, okay. Moose, that's a good one. The Honey Badger. That one was funny because it was based off a meme.
Yeah.
So that one's a good one. Ocho Cinco, he says as well. That was just like a play off the numbers, but it's not even.
Crystal said, "My mom calls me Cheech."
No! That one's good. White chocolate. I love that.
Yep.
Jason Williams. Just go watch the highlights. Search White Chocolate, kids, if you're young enough to not remember him. Skip to My Lou. If we're going back to basketball, that's a good one too. That was also his and one moniker, though.
See, I was going to say that's one of the things I was arguing against, because like all the dudes from and one had monikers, as like the Professor, Hot Sauce, like Escalade. Those were their monikers. Like nobody ever called Skip to My Lou Rafer Alston when they were doing and one stuff. He was called that in the NBA, but he was still Skip to My Lou. Like. I don't think the
N1 that's Skip all the way.
The N1 monikers are dope. But the N1 monikers are dope, but I don't think they count for like
the Professor
nicknames. That's freaking awesome.
That one's good. That's a good nickname. Only because he's just so technical with it, nasty with it. He would take you to school. That's why they call him Professor. Tiger. That one.
Tiger
Woods? Easy. Yeah, Tiger. Eldrick Woods.
Tiger Woods, yeah.
But that just became so synonymous with the player. Like everyone just calls him Tiger now.
There's some MMA nicknames that I like the Anderson the Spider Silva. That's one of the better
That's a
ones.
good one.
John Bones Jones. That one rhymes. That doesn't necessarily meet the best nickname criteria, but Bones Jones is dope.
Bones, dude.
Israel, the Last Style Bender. Adesanya. First of all, Avatar The Last Airbender, one of the best shows you could ever watch. And then Adesanya is amazing. So I think that one goes. It's close though. It shaves a line of like corniness though too at the same time. It's just like
sweetness is a pretty good one.
Yeah. Too tall Jones.
Too tall Jones.
That boy's too tall.
He's too damn tall. The big hurt for Frank Thomas. I like that one too. Paul Pierce. We'll get into the bad ones. Mean Joe Green. That's a classic.
Yeah. Mean Gene. Oh, that's a good nickname too.
Gene Okerlund.
Gene Okerlund.
The Hitman. Hart.
Oh yeah, that's good
Think
too.
about Bret Hart. We going into wrestling.
See, so some of those can lean into like moniker too, like Triple H. You know, like
Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
He's what's his name? Paul. His name's Paul. Like
Paul Levesque.
Macho Man, Randy Savage. Randy Savage was his name, but Macho Man was the nickname. Like,
okay, here's the misconception about Steve Austin. His ring name was Stone Cold Steve Austin, but his nickname was the Texas Rattlesnake.
Oh yeah, that's right. So it's like
that's too much there. That's too much there.
It's a lot of layers. No, but they're all good though, which it works for him.
Pistol
that's Pete.
A good one.
That one's dope too. Because he'll blast you. Hakeem the Dream is that a good one?
Oh yeah,
Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon. Dream Shake. When you have a you have a signature move and it's like with your nickname incorporated into it. That's it.
The Iceman, just because he was so cold.
Oh, Iceman is dope.
Now, who do you think of when you hear the Iceman? Though
I do think of George Gervin first, because
I was about to say
longtime Spurs fan, and then Chuck Liddell second because of
because watching MMA growing up. Okay, let's get into the worst.
Oh, hang on! I wanted to mention one.
Oh
one
yeah.
More,
No, go with the best ones.
For the MMA world, Sexy Yama. That's Yoshihiro
Akiyama.
Yep, Akiyama. For those of y'all not well versed in MMA dudes, Sexy Yama.
You told me this, and we came up watching the same eras of MMA, and I forgot about this one.
Beetle forgot.
You said it last night, and I was just laughing so much. Beetle's a good nickname because it's just like from his name, whatever.
Oh yeah, little Sebastian, it's a Beetle.
So not little Sexy
Sebastian,
Yama,
the horse. For those of y'all,
Johnny Football Moses, get out of here.
Johnny Football, boo, that's stupid. The big.
If someone calls me Johnny, that's a good one.
That's a double entendre too, so you need to watch out. Who said the big unit? I mean, who said Johnny Foot? Oh, Mo did.
It's
Mo because of your initials.
You just put that together. We've known this fool forever. You just put that together.
I'm kidding. Oh man, that's funny. Yeah, Bones Jones is dope.
Stupid. No, that's stupid.
The Intimidator. Oh, I forgot about that. Dale
yeah. Dale Earnhardt.
I think good nicknames are like you can reference a person by the nickname, and you don't have to say like their first name or last name. Wherever you put the title, it's gonna be there. But I think Ali was the greatest. That makes sense.
His Jordan was air.
Mm-hmm.
His airness.
His airness.
Some would say goat.
Some would say that for Messi also. So the
Remember
answer
when they try to give. Oh, that's a good one
for Allen Iverson.
Yeah. Okay, let's get into the. Oh, you had the last one, the Korean zombie. That one's a good.
Oh yeah, the Korean zombie is dope too.
I like that one because it went with his fighting style. He could not be put down for the longest time. And he just kept coming at you, Korean zombie. Worst nicknames, I'll start it off. The Truth.
Play off Paul Pierce? Because he was supposed to be the answer. Like that's an antithesis to Allen Iverson.
I didn't like it. I just don't like it.
I don't think of when I think of, oh man, that man's the truth right there. I don't think of Paul Pierce playing basketball. I think of like Russell Westbrook more than I would like.
Refrigerator Perry. That one's not a good one.
It's like he's a big man.
Yeah, he was 6'3". Yeah, he was 6'3", 350. But y'all call him as big as a refrigerator.
Is the microwave in league with that too, or
they didn't make that nickname based on his stature. It was what he could do.
Okay.
This dude can heat up quick, so that one's okay. Andre Rison, Bad Moon. Based
Bad
off the song.
Moon.
Bad Moon Rising.
Oh man. No, that sucks.
You know who you can blame for that? Chris Berman. We missed the best nickname. He hate me.
He hate me from XFL.
Rod Smart from the XFL. He hate me. Prime time. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Big Fun. I don't think it's a good nickname. I love Tim Duncan, but I don't think the Big Fundamental is a good nickname.
Yeah, I don't. Mostly because it comes from Shaq, and he's just corny all the time. So
He called himself the Big Cactus. Shactus when he was playing for the Suns too. That's not good.
what? That's whack, dude. Shaq's so whack. No, that's Tim Duncan's good. I mean, big fundamental. He was all about the fundamentals, sure, but also like it's okay. It's an okay name.
The Admiral, that's a good one too.
The Admiral is a good one. We're talking about
Magic
the worst
is-
ones.
Magic is probably the best one because once again it ascends from the sports realm into the world. People call him Magic, dude. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
by
you
name.
mean Magic Johnson. Yeah. Roberto Duran, Hands Stone, that was a good one too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Vinny Johnson, that one was okay.
I think
The Toe, that's a terrible one. Luke Rosa,
the toe.
because he was a kicker.
What about Booby Gibson?
It's just Booby.
His nickname is Booby. I forgot his real name. That's how bad his nickname is.
That's how good that nickname
no,
is.
it's like it was a family given name, Booby Gibson. So they're just
Just
like,
call him
oh,
Booby.
yeah, they call him Booby.
I know you don't like King for LeBron James.
It's because it's also whack. Didn't he give himself that nickname?
No, they gave it to him.
They gave it to him?
Swaggy P is terrible.
Yeah, he gave himself that nickname, and it's awful.
He earned every bit of Swaggy P.
It became a moniker for just being a fool on the court. I think that's really what it
I know
came down to.
we left some of these nicknames out, but get them in the comments and we'll find it.
Mailman. Oh, that I feel like that qualifies as a bad one.
I don't like it.
The mailman, because it backfired on him, right? Because didn't
because he couldn't deliver Joe in the final.
He couldn't deliver on Sunday. Who said that? Scottie Pippen said that.
Ooh.
Brutal.
That's what you get.
Ooh, okay, that's an interesting one in the comments here. The Black Mamba, is that classify as good or bad?
The Black Mamba is bad
because he gave it to himself.
Because he gave it to himself.
Yeah.
It's not good.
That's
why it's not good.
I think it's
now,
weird.
I know it shifted into like Mamba mentality.
Uh-huh.
So that became a thing, and then once Mamba mentality was established, you had like the red Mamba coming out and the white Mamba for Brian Scalabrine.
Oh God, no!
Terrible, terrible. Spinoffs of already not a good nickname because it was given to him by himself.
Yeah, spinoffs. Yeah, spinoffs are they're derivatives. So like any derivatives don't really
spin-off.
They don't pass muster in like nicknames. I had a couple of bad ones that I found. Like I said earlier, any ones that you give yourself. So yeah, that counts as bad. Shorthand of like initials and jerseys and numbers and all that stuff. Like who else? T-Mac would be one. Like that's Tracy McGrady. Like cool. Chris
that
Paul,
one's okay.
Didn't he? CP3 is that his thing?
CP3, yeah, that goes back into like just the two initials and the
number. Like those are whack. Like you're just shorthanding someone's first name and they're part of their last name. It's whack. I don't like it. I found a couple I found a couple bad ones from MMA. Believe it or not, of all places. Why would there be bad nicknames? Jeff, scary nickname, Nader.
That's bad. Yeah, that's
face.
If you're not watching us on Facebook or YouTube,
he just had he had if you've ever seen a plain faced grimace, like that's what he was doing. I got another one for you, John. Your boy Eric Anders. That's it. Your boy is his. Yeah.
I hate these.
One of the worst ones I found, Andre Touchy Feely. Yeah, no, Feely, Fili.
Oh, no. What did he? Was he? He was a fighter, mixed martial artist.
Yeah,
was he like grabbing? Like, was he grabbing nuts and stuff? Was that what they called him?
He would just come around to get positioning and leverage, just reach around under your gooch and just like.
They only give you that nickname if that's what's happening.
Yeah, touchy.
There's no other way. Mo threw in Diesel for Shaq. That one's understandable. Like he's a fuel.
He called himself Superman also.
Yeah, he called himself Superman too. Shaq Diesel, the big cactus, Shactus.
Kazam, that was also another one that was bad.
The big Aristotle, that one sucks.
No, that's bad.
Yeah, all of his nicknames are terrible.
I would feel like for some of these MMA ones, I would feel bad if I'm the ring announcer and I'm like, oh crap, I got to do my thing, and I got to be performative. Andre Touchy Feely, like nope, I'm gonna skip past
like,
that
we're
one.
Done. I'm punching Bruce Buffer if he does that. Like I'm just walking up to him and I'm punching him right in the jaw.
You gotta watch out. Bruce Buffer knows some moves. I'm sure
he knows Silat. He knows
some Muay Thai thrown in there. You don't
give me a nickname right now.
Give you a nickname?
Yeah.
Because okay, so I just thought of something antagonistic.
Oh no!
Because when we used to play basketball, that weird GIF or like that weird video of Kobe grimacing with his teeth like sticking out, like he was like
he's like snarling.
You kind of did that one time, and I was like, oh, Brown Mamba right there. Look at him.
No. No.
I had to give you a nickname, and it had to be bad.
Joe Motion. That was my
Joe
nickname
Motion
for you.
I like that. Joe Nobley. We mentioned that one earlier.
He had a nasty crossover. It wasn't fast. That's why we called him Joe Motion,
because it was very slow.
It wasn't like terribly slow, but it wasn't as quick.
It wasn't like hot sauce slow either. So it wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. It's really what it came down to. Yeah.
Hot sauce is a good one too.
I said that one earlier. But those are the monikers that they had to go by. Like you had to have a moniker to be an N1, otherwise they wouldn't let you play.
You had to be good too, otherwise they weren't gonna let
that also
just let anybody on there. It's like you can't be on our mixtape. Remember mixtapes? I remember mixtapes.
They were dope. And also hard to come by in Lubbock. So growing up is hard to get those.
Speaking of hard, the hardest segment in the biz right now on this podcast, it's At the Buzzer.
All right, everyone's favorite segment, At the Buzzer, also known as, I don't have a nickname for it. First one, happy birthday, hit the road. Jacksonville Jaguars defensive tackle Foley Fatukasi, sorry. Yeah. Got a great birthday shout out on Twitter. The Jags were like, yeah, happy birthday, man. And then 4.5 hours later, he was fired, per Mike Garofalo's reporting. Good news,
I shouldn't be laughing at that. That's terrible. The way you said it made it funny.
Good news, John. This saved the Jaguars $3.5 million. Question to you: what's the worst thing to happen on your birthday?
I haven't had anything like terrible happen. Our birthday was in the summer, so growing up in I guess that's the worst thing. Growing up in elementary, all the kids throughout the school year would be like, yeah, birthday. And it got worse in junior high when kids were actually like having more money. I don't know how. Yeah, it's like we couldn't celebrate birthdays during the year, and then because it's the summertime, like everyone goes away, and we didn't know like the rest of the map in our world wasn't unlocked yet, so we didn't know like where everyone lived. So we couldn't be like, hey, we're having a swimming pool. We did have but that was dope.
Yeah, I think.
Thanks, Mom.
You only
the worst thing that happened on my birthday was sharing it with you.
Oh Jesus! Look at this
fool. Call me Brown Mamba.
We shared everything growing up, and this fool can't even share his birthday. Hater.
My birthday.
One of the worst things that happened. I remember on my 21st birthday, I went to visit my lady out in Central Texas, but I had to drive back, or I rode back with her parents.
I remember this
on our 21st birthday, and it was a 5.5 hour trip. Roughly took 8 hours and like 20 minutes. It was the longest return trip ever. And then I remember we finally got back. I threw all my stuff in the room, and we were like, hey, we're gonna go out to what was it, main event, and we had beer for our 21st birthday. It was Dos Equis. It was great. Shout out to JJ for
this was months. Yeah, shout out to JJ. This was months after, actually a couple months after our birthday. because we didn't drink growing up, believe it or not, everyone. I know we're party animals now, but we're not. Yeah, we didn't drink until like a month after we turned 21, and then we went to the main event and had a beer. It was awesome.
Yep.
Here's the worst thing that happened on our birthday, our 14th birthday. Remember we were playing basketball in the street and we got in a fight, me and you?
Oh yeah.
I was talking mad noise, and we got in a fight. And then Dad whooped both of our asses and like put it out to that. That was the worst.
He very literally just like grabbed our heads, hit our heads together, and then threw us apart like 20 yards in each direction. It was bad. Yeah, that was the second worst for me, because that was the longest 8 hours and 20 minutes of my life coming back from Central Texas, John. So that's a pretty close second.
I didn't have that. Yeah, I didn't have
that. God dang it. Freaking brown mom over here.
I'm doing it. I'm doing the face. The scowl.
We're moving on. God dang it.
Dad whooping our ass. That was the worst thing that happened on my birthday.
Yeah, okay, you're right. That's number one. It's pretty bad.
Hey, if your dad ever whooped your ass, let us know in the comments.
And then the comments immediately just start filling up.
Just start flooding.
Goonish behavior. Several instances in the NBA and related. The Rockets engaging in altercations 3 straight games. The Suns, the Spurs, and then the Suns again. The Rockets are 12th in the West. Dylan Brooks got the chair pulled on him, and he was falling all embarrassing, like a clown that he is. Luka Doncic getting fussy, throwing bottles in their loss to the Pacers. Mavs are 8th in the West, by the way. Shaq losing a $1 million bet, saying Denver would beat Phoenix, and paying co-anchor Jamal Crawford in Shaq bucks. Boo! Saying, quote, "I didn't say 1 million real dollars. You freaking fool. You idiot."
Don't be a weasel.
Don't be a punk. John, is the season closing causing some undue stress in the NBA? Also, follow-up question, does Shaq suck?
Yeah, is there undue stress? The West is really tight right now, and Dallas, they were on a winning streak. Indiana snaps it, but the Mavericks don't play defense, and that's a concern. They're 30th in the league right now in stopping teams from scoring the basketball. Their defensive rating also calculates in the fact that they allow second chance points, so they're not rebounding. They're not doing anything, and that's Jason Kidd's fault. So he needs to kind of brush that up real quick. And they dropped positions actually, so they're 8th now, and they could potentially be a play-in team if it continues not. If it gets worse, and I'm okay with that.
Again, the Spurs are last.
No, the season's over. I came to terms with that. The second month of basketball.
Yeah, we came here to be petty and just drag everyone down with us.
Yep, it's like your team's not making the playoffs. Good.
Well, yeah, that's how tight the race is. Like 1 win can buy you 2 spots, and 1 loss can lose you 3. So it's like it's gonna be close coming to the end of the season. To answer your question, yes, Shaq is a punk for not following through on his bet. Last one, yeah, Turtle Power. Paramount Plus brought over the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to San Siro for a Champions League match. That's football, soccer, for those not in the know. The Turtles are seen hanging out all over the stadium and the pitch. John, which Ninja Turtle are you, and who would be the best turtle to kick it with?
I am Leonardo and Mikey.
You can't
Mikey's
be
the best. Mikey would be the best one to kick it with.
I'm Mikey and also Mikey. So yes, you're right.
You are not. Yeah, you are not Mikey.
I'm pretty good with nunchucks.
You are Donatello.
No, why?
You're pretty good with nerd. That's what.
Donatello. He does machines. God dang it. I am pretty good with machines. I'm over here pushing all these buttons. You can see the Set the Buzzer thing right here too. So.
Going back to the comments real quick, that's at the buzz. Gorda, from the comment section here, the nickname that they had. Mo chimes in with the Bus and Iron Mike. Those are good ones too.
Oh yeah, solid ones.
The Bus also just like commenting on like the unstoppableness of Jerome Bettis.
Also, he was
Iron Mike. Iron was his nickname.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not messing with the dude whose nickname is Iron. Like this, like that sounds bad.
I don't want to get hit with an iron.
If you're doing that, or like Tekken, you're in the King of the Iron Fist tournament. Like, I'm not messing with anybody in that tournament. Nope. Not even Gon. Not even Panda.
Oh man.
Corrections. We got none. Perfect show. Yay!
We did it.
We did it.
Perfect 10 for 10. How many segments did we have? We had three segments.
Four segments. 10 for 10. How do we do that? It's amazing.
4 for 4. Let's just go with that. I don't want to prop us up too much, Joe. Everyone in the comment section, thank you for joining us on the We Got Next podcast. Everyone's just throwing stuff at us and we're catching it. Some of these I'm not going to repeat. Thanks for joining us. We do this one time a week, but you can find us everywhere. YouTube, here on Facebook, search We Got Next Podcast. We're on the Sunday Funday. Now we're on the We Got Next Podcast page. Tell your friends about it too. Like the page. Follow the page. You'll get alerts every time we go live, and it's totally worth it. Like, comment, subscribe. Find us wherever you get your podcasts streaming for free. It's free. There's no way you should not be doing it. Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, iHeart, not Google Play anymore. That's gone. Spotify, Amazon Music, and Audible. Well, iHeartRadio, Spreaker. Find us on the Instagram at WeGotNext_pod. Voicemail line 370-0337. Joe, super producer with the super computer. Your host, I'm John. Shoot your shot, everybody.